Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. If you're watching this video, I am here with the ever radiant, look at you, always radiant, Danielle Robertson.
Hello.
Danielle and I worked together for a total of 15 weeks. Now it's interesting because you and I started working together on the 9th of April. So I do have my notes, as I always do. And our last session was on the 24th of July last year, but then there was a bit of a break and you came back and you decided you wanted to have a couple more sessions. And those ones kind of went a bit funny. We had one full one and then two. The second one was a split session because, as you know, the purpose of that was you had to kind of do some more work in between until we had the second half of that session. So that actually happened on that happened in December, which is why I caught you up in my little net of interviewing clients. So
I won the prize.
And Danielle, you also one of the first people that requested a remote reading,
Yes.
energy reading, and that was interesting for me because you hadn't been in the group long. There wasn't a great deal of participation, and then I get this notification that you requested a remote reading. It was like, well, okay, all right, fine. And we started working together not long after that. I'm actually going to start by telling people you and I have discussed, and that is that after the consult call and the follow-up call, I kept saying to you, I don't really know why you want to work with me, because I could see that there was not really anything there that I could really grasp that you needed serious work on, but yet you decided that you wanted to work with me. So I'm going to invite you now to share your thoughts around why you decided you wanted to work with me.
First of all, I'm just going to tell you, if my eyes start weeping, it's because I've got hay fever. I've got someone mowing lawn, so I'm not bursting in spontaneous crying.
I don't make people cry on public interviews.
If I'm doing this, that's why. Although I could drop a tear, a bit of my... getting back to the question, sorry, taking over the show. I actually felt quite stuck for a little while, and I knew that I needed something. And I just put it out there to the old universe thinking they'll bring it to me when they need it, when they want me, or, the person will come to me or the thing will come to me. And lo and behold, Adele popped up in a newsfeed somehow on my Facebook page. And I thought, hello. So I joined the group, and then I thought, is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then she spoke about her remote healing. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to know one way or the other whether we're connected and whether this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I did the remote read, and holy cow, I was absolutely blown away, really blown away by the remote read. And I just knew straight away that I wanted to work with Adele. And she's going, you sure? You're really sure? I don't really know what I can do for you at the moment. And I'm going, yes, I'm really sure. Well, she's found a few things, I can tell you. And there you go. The friendship begins.
I did, I mentioned in our wind-up call, and I don't think I'd ever said that to you before, but I got off the call where, the follow-up call where you agreed to work with me, I got off the call where, what am I going to do with this woman? I was at a complete loss, but you wanted to do the work, so we did. And I'm going to ask you now, and this will probably tell a little bit more about why you made the decision. Part of the process of coming to this interview is that I send you the consultation call, the recording of the consultation call again, and I ask you to watch that, because to me that's always the real tell on how much someone has changed. if you're comfortable, I'd like you to share with anyone who's watching what your thoughts were when you watched that video back again.
When I did watch it, it actually made me feel quite sad, and I thought I didn't look happy, and I thought I looked a little bit unwell, and that surprised me because I was physically I was okay. I was physically okay, carrying a bit more weight than I should have, but as we all do. But I just thought I did not look well, and obviously that I needed something to help me get well, become well, or get to where I needed to be to become who I am. So I really felt that I was not in a good place on lots of different levels.
Yeah. And, you know, throughout our work together, we took you to the cusp a few times of actually really unveiling your abilities, and we talked about it a few times, but we had a few sessions where we, you know, talked about how you could actively start bringing those more to the fore.
Yeah.
But each time there was something that pulled you back from that. And as we talked about just before starting to record, given what a lot of people think about, you know, the direction of the group and the idea of soul purpose and things like that, I would love for you to share why you actively made the decision to pull back on activating your abilities to their fullest extent during the time that we worked together.
For me, looking at it now and looking at probably even before then, at like knowing that there was something there, it was fear. It was fear of the unknown, fear of people, what people think, and just what society in general, you know, the stigma, I suppose, that goes with it. And some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's true, some of it's not. It's just all, I didn't like that, and I didn't know, and I'm an all in or all out sort of person, and I didn't know if I was ready to be an all in situation. And also, I actually like to know everything before I jump in the pool, you know. I like to have all the facts, details. That's probably not right. I need to know the knowledge, the learning and the understanding. So if I'm pressed or someone asks me about it, I've got the answers right there, and I'm on the ball with it. And I probably didn't feel that I had that. I had enough of it, and I certainly there's no one in my world, my current world, that sort of is with any sort of abilities that they see that they present to me. They probably do have them, but they don't. I was brought up Roman Catholic, and I was very in that Roman Catholic realm of my world. Not that I would say that I follow the church, but as a young girl, I definitely was. Our family was. We were probably the modern Catholics, if you know what I mean. And having said that, that's probably was quite ingrained in me for a long time. And not that I disrespect what the church did give to me, but I'm growing beyond, much beyond that, which is lovely, which is really good. But that I recognise that was part of it as well. In my upbringing and the limitations that society, church, family, friends, whatever put on you or on people. So it's just coming to terms with that. I'm okay with it. I'm really okay with it.
And I think the other thing that really stood out for me as part of that process was that you were determined to get your other ducks in a row first. It was, you know, family, relationship, all these other things that you just, because I think, as you said, you're an all-in person. So to sort of start that journey, but still have this kind of stuff hanging behind you, unsettled, so to speak, just wasn't what you were ready for.
No.
But given that, because we didn't have that many sessions where we focused on those aspects of you, so what we did focus on was a lot of, I think, changing thought processes. I don't want to say mindset because it wasn't mindset, but changing thought processes and looking at things, again, I don't want to say strategically, but along those lines.
Yes.
And, you know, we have talked about this, but out of all of that, what's your biggest takeaway from going through that process?
My biggest takeaway from going through that process.
Which was go on, sorry.
No, you go.
Well, the idea of the strategies and techniques that we talked about and then you put into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple that I do use, and probably now that I've been using them a little bit, I don't even realise that I am using them. It's just like, oh yeah, that's just part of the parcel. Having said that, I think it's about not taking things on personally, like especially when you're dealing with people who are close to you, being a little bit more objective, which I usually am I can be as a person, but when it's so close and people that you love or are connected to in some way, it's just using those sort of tools to be able to receive a message and give a message without actually taking on the heat or the fire that sometimes comes around it if it's a touchy subject or just sometimes things are misunderstood because they're said with too much emphasis, or you're having a bad day, or they're just said with anger. But you still want to be able to communicate and not do that. So what the learning was for me to step back, not take on that angst around the conversation, around the situation, and just realise what my role is as a mother. Or a mother or a friend, because I have children, as a mother, a friend, a daughter, whatever the situation might be. So that was a really good tool, which I still use quite fluently at times.
It is, and I personally think it's one of the most powerful things. It's to be able to do that sort of step back from a situation and assess it from, not from necessarily a detached point of view, but to actually look at it like it's not about you.
Yep.
What someone else's behaviour is about. So hugely powerful. Now I'm going to touch on something that you brought anger into the conversation. So
I did too.
Yeah, you did.
Great segue.
I had a bit of a chuckle when we had the session talking about anger. But I'm going to, if you wouldn't mind, what were around?
Well, throughout our sessions, it was very interesting because Adele managed to point out to me that I don't recognise or process anger at all in any way, shape or form. And that just blew me out of the water. And also on top of that it's okay to be angry. Like situations happen and you do get anger. You do feel anger and pain, and it's okay to express those things. You know, it's natural to express those things. I'm quite a happy, optimistic sort of person, and I never dealt with those issues. I didn't want to deal with them, and so there's a lot of repression there of things that I hadn't repressed anger and just an awareness of fact that it's okay. You know, it's all right. You can get angry. It's like, okay. But the fact that I didn't even recognise anger, what anger was, it was really quite strange, I would say. For me, it was strange. Like, oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get angry. I get angry now, and I feel okay with it. But I'm over it. I get over it, release it, and off I go. And
that's the ideal. That's the ideal. I think that the chuckle that I have is that, yes, you are a very bright, bubbly, look on the positive side of things type of person. And the way that you express or interpret anger is not like anyone else I've ever sort of dealt with before. So being able to identify that and say, actually, that's how you react, or that's anger. And for you to go, holy crap, it is. Oh, okay. And And I actually think it's really powerful what you said just then. It's like, okay, you get angry and then you get over it, you work through it, and so it's done.
Yeah.
And to
Don't
me,
hold it. Don't feed it.
yeah, no, and it's such a healthy way to do it. It really is a really healthy way to do it. What do you think for yourself has been? I was going to ask you this, but I am. I don't want to ask you. I don't want you to answer it the same way you did before.
Okay.
The most beneficial outcome of choosing to work with me, and for you, the most beneficial outcome.
I can't actually pinpoint it to one. Okay. What Adele didn't want me to say is how much I value her friendship, her skills, her knowledge, and she's loyal and trustworthy. So I'm just going to get that right out there and say how great she is before she can cut me off. That is a huge thing for me.
A bit more gushy when you said it the first
time. It was very gushy, but she was going bright red. She's, I'm not going to ask you that. But that is, seriously, it's a big thing. So if anyone's doubting Adele's sincerity or her loyalty, please don't. I trust her implicitly. She's just so loyal and true and honest, and she's just a good egg. So just do it. So and that's leading me to what I got out of it. I'm learning. It's about putting myself first, and I realised at the time when I came to see Adele, I had to do it for me. I was investing in me because I knew I needed something, and I was sort of a bit stuck, and Adele has sort of put me on the right path. So, and the path was interesting, and it's not, I don't think it's what either of us expected in any way, shape or form, and illuminating to the I don't know, whatever degree it was, but every time it's like, oh my God, did that just happen? And every session would start at A, come full circle and come back to A, but I'd be on a different level of understanding and appreciation at that. And each session has been a pathway of different sessions of going around and coming back to the beginning again. But my beginning is on a different level and a different understanding. And I know I've got a lot more of that ahead of me, and I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready for it. But that's been huge for me. And even understanding that process, that life is a circle, of always a circle, the circle of life, the beginning and an end, or there is no end, because it just, life and death and all those things, it's just all relevant. And how you might go have the same scenario, but because with your learnings, your growth, your development, you're seeing it with new eyes. It's like going to an optometrist and you think you can see okay until all of a sudden he puts these things in front of you. Oh my God, that's what that is. So it's like seeing like that with having, I've worn glasses all my life and spent many, many hours in optometrists with the sorry if someone has never had to do that before. But
I'm due.
Yes. So it's just like, so after going through each of these stages and the pathways, I am seeing clearer all the time. And I know I will keep seeing it clearer and clearer, with fresher eyes, newer eyes, bigger heart, more compassion, just the growth. I love growth, and Adele has beautifully cleared my pathway so I can continue to grow. So I'm most thankful for that. So I hope that actually answered the question, but yeah, I really am.
It did. And I love when you said that in our wind-up call, that, our sessions would sort of kind of go round and round and round. And like, we went to places that was just like, woo, really? Woo. But, and I've got to find it. I have got it written there. You came, it was like coming back to the beginning, but it was a new beginning.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful way to look at it. And the way you described it just then, with, you have a greater clarity when you're seeing something. It's not ever going to be the same way that you saw it before, because of new information, because of growth, because of development, you know, whether it was in our sessions or the things that you did in between. And that's actually a really beautiful way of putting it, because each of those is a little elevation, you know. Each of those leads to more and more understanding. So that's a really beautiful way of putting it.
Oh, thank you. And Adele was the catalyst for all of that growth, because I think I was just in this like little bottleneck of stuckness, and I just couldn't get to where I needed to be, and then she appeared.
But you know, and I always appreciate when people say that, but what I have to do is handball it back and say that it's because of you. You made the decision. You realised that there was something that you needed to do, and you chose me to do it with. So although, yes, our work together has potentially escalated where you may have been without it, you made the decision. And that's where I always lay the biggest congratulations to people, because that first step, that first point of decision making, is where you start empowering yourself. The moment that you go, I need to do something and this is going to be it.
Yep.
And you're already starting on that path. So thank you for the compliments, but I'm handing it back to you and complimenting you for doing what needed to be done. Because to me, that takes bravery, that takes courage, and that takes faith in you and me, really, in getting the results that you want. Thank you. Now, before we sign off, is there anything else that you wanted to add about your time and you know, what you experienced?
I will say I really did not know what to expect in any way, shape or form. And if I did, it was sort of pretty vague.
Yeah.
And for anyone who hasn't booked any time with Adele or is sort of teetering on it, I would say you're going to know straight away if it's right for you. And I would say Adele wouldn't work with you if it wasn't meant to be. But it is it was very, very good for me, and it can change your life in a very, very positive way. So if you're sort of thinking about it, I would definitely say do it for yourself, because you deserve it. And that is it. Just do it because you deserve it. And Adele has been put here for you for a reason, and she's aware of that, and she will help you grow and become the best version of yourself. So do yourself a favour, as Molly says.
Right back to childhood, I do like that.
I know. The 80s childhood coming out there.
Right? Love it. Danielle, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I believe it's actually quite challenging and quite brave for people to come in and do this, which will go on a public forum and share their experience, because it can be incredibly personal, particularly some of the things that we've talked about for you in the beginning, in the initial stages. So thank you so much. Thank you for agreeing to work with me. Although actually convincing me to work with you is probably more to the point with you. What I'm going to do with it, let's do this.
And then out it all came.
Thank you again so much.
Thanks very much.
And we'll catch you in the group. And for anyone watching this, I will put the link in the comments, as I always do for the client interviews. You are just gorgeous and radiant, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Mwah. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele. See you later.